Well, I am leaving to get a bite to eat. Qualifiers are over, schoolers are over, training's over, breaking the babies is done. It is 12:13. Now I got some business to do. I got to meet with a couple of clients, make some phone calls. Just got stuff to do. So I'm going to go meet with Steve. We get some yearlings to talk about, and going to get a bite to eat. Now, for the babies today, they all went great. I know everybody keeps asking me, which one's the best one? Which one do you like? Come on, guys. You know that it's their third day of going. I can't tell you any more than you can see. That's why we're having people out to the barn on Saturday. I know that Mother Nature moved her potential rain up from Saturday night to potentially Saturday morning. So we'll see what happens. We're still going with the babies. We're still going to have some coffee and donuts. Let people see what's going on at the barn. I was actually really impressed with the professionalism of the baby. Every year I say this, but I think they get worked so much and handled so much before the sales. Everybody says, I can't believe you put them in the cart the first day. It's so shocking. Not really, because most of these horses have been on equicizers and hand walked and brushed and clipped and who knows what before they ever get to the sale. So I'm not really that surprised. I know what it was like to break a horse when I was a kid. It's not like breaking horses now. I sent that video out last night of Girls with Swirls. Now, obviously, you can see it was edited. She reared up once and acted up for a couple seconds, but for the most part, was absolutely perfect. And that's what I want to see, right? Just smart horses, smart, athletic-looking horses. You'll see a correlation between them and the ones that win races. So that's what I'm after. Is just good-looking, smart horses, and I think we got enough of them in the barn right now. I went with one of them today. We'll get to that in a minute. So the babies I've been very happy with. They're all broken going now. The only one that's going to miss Saturday likely is Surreal Love. Was a little sick. His lymph nodes blew up. He had a tooth that was bothering him. Bugger had a tough week. Kept eating, though. Eating and drinking and putting weight on, and good for him. So he'll probably miss Saturday. A couple other ones, temperature spiked on them. The Muscle Hill colt had a temperature of 101.1 today. We jogged him. Now, just jogged him easy. Hopefully it stays down and he'll be all right Saturday. And a horse that everybody's going to be very interested in soon enough. Also, his name is Rito Sunshine. You're going to get to see him likely on Saturday. We wanted to have a hobbles on him yesterday for the first time, but he spiked the temperature. Temperature was down today, and they jogged him. What is with the traffic? This is lunacy. I'm not going on that road. I can't take that. Anyway, the babies went good this morning. James has a bunch up in Shed Row 2 now. Now, James is going to be training at a Shed Row 2, and to accommodate James, because obviously driving's a little slow in the winter, right? Especially if you're at Mohawk. Driving's a little, what's going on there? Oh, they're painting the road or something. Driving's a little slow in the winter. So, and I like James being there because James knows how I want things done, right? And it's not a problem, but one of the little issues with hiring on all these trainers is they've done it their own way forever, right? And the one thing about the stable is I want it done my way, right? I'm going to be the guy on the hook. If something goes wrong, if the horses aren't good, that's Anthony's fault, not their fault. It's the stable.ca is not Mario's or Kevin's or Jason's or Harry's. It's mine. So I take responsibility. There's a certain way we train down the horses, large sets, large groups, get them in, get them doing it right from the start. You know, the old way was let them, get their bearings under them for a couple of weeks. And I don't subscribe to that. I take, especially since we miss days in the winter when people in Florida don't, right? So those days, we're going to miss them, snow days, ice, whatever. I don't take any day for granted, nor do I think I should. So when it comes to the training of the babies, I expect it done right every day. And there is a certain system. For those of you who frequent the barn, there's a system to the way we train the babies and train them down, and I'm responsible for that system. So James knows how I want it done. Jason does also. Mario's getting the hang of it. Harry, Kevin. All the horses will be up in the top barn under me, as they always are. I still have people messaging me saying, hey, who's getting this baby? Every single baby until June of next year is under my watch. So it doesn't matter whether Mario's crew's doing a couple of them over on Shed Row 1 or Kevin's crew or Harry or anyone else. They're all under, it was an accident. They're all under, big accident. they're all under my watch. So James is going to have Shed Row 2, which is great, because when things start to heat up next April and May, you can't really have James, who's one, I want to say he's one of the leading drivers, because I think he's done a great job. He won the Canadian Pacing Derby. My brother, he does a good job with the horses, and he gets busy, right? He has other obligations also throughout the summer, and he doesn't want to be in charge of training a barn. So by moving the Pennsylvania and Ohio bred horses up to Shed Row 2, that alleviates that, because they're all gone in June. So James and Kirby and that crew is going to be in charge of all the Ohio, Pennsylvania. Mario's going to want a lot of the Ontario breds over there, but he can't have all the Ontario breds, because I have to save some for in the springtime when we start moving them out to Harry and Kevin also. So that's how the barn will work. That's how it's working right now. We're just putting it together, putting the horses in the proper places right now. So babies went good today. Sorry, long wait. It took me 6 minutes to get to that. When it came to the qualifiers and schoolers, we had 2 horses qualifying today at 2 different barns. Casanova's Jewel was qualifying at a Harry's barn, and Final Answer was qualifying at a Jared Bothwell's barn. The problem is, I own a lot of them, because a lot of people had sold their shares through it, and I don't blame them. These were horses that were either injured or not doing their work properly. We gave them time off and brought them back, and they're both very tricky. Remember, Final Answer has made breaks in his life. Casanova's Jewel's made lots of breaks, so I wanted to go with both of them. I told Harry and Jared, don't enter them last Tuesday. I'm in Lexington. Wait till I get back, because I want to go with both of them. Except the race office had other plans. 8 qualifiers. They put our 2 horses in together. So I had to get a driver, Jason Ryan, who's never seen, sat behind, or knows Final Answer, to go with them. Made a break at the gate. Now, obviously, as I always do, I just want to do where I need to be, where I need to be. I looked at the program, I looked at the horses. James had schooled Final Answer last week, but James has suspension this week on Thursday, so he can't be here. She's at the barn. Casanova's Jewel is prone to making breaks, so I went with him. He didn't make a break, but Final Answer did. So I'll go with Final Answer next Tuesday. This horse obviously coming back from a couple of injuries. We're trying to keep him patched together and get him racing for the fall and the winter. The speed, I don't think, is dissipated, but or his willingness to do it. But he is a little fragile. So I'll go with him next Tuesday. Same thing for different reasons with Casanova's Jewel. A bit bumpy still throughout the mile. If you watch the video, I'm sure you can see it. Down the back, coming out of the gate, he was good. Down the back stretch, he was a little rough, and down the lane, he was a little more rough, which leads me to believe the further he goes, the more it bothers him. Could be some residual pain a little bit from that splint left front that we had cryoed last week, or could be that left stifle bothering him a little bit. It's not his feet. I don't think he looks good in that regard. Just a few little things to patch up, and we'll have him in to go next week at Flamborough or London, and I'll go with him. Then we went to the schoolers, a big day for us. We had Globetrotting schooling today, their last prep mile before the Breeders' Crown. We had Don't Believe Me, Just Watch schooling today. For those of you who have been following him or know him, you know we couldn't race him in the grassroots semifinals because he was so sick. He near died. I don't know if he near died, but he was very, very sick. He had a temperature of 104, had diarrhea really bad, come off his feed. It was very concerning for a few days, and considering the timing, it's at the end of his 2-year-old year. I know people are going to say, well, he only raced 4 times. Yeah, but he's been training and schooling and going hard the same as everybody else, and it's a long year. So when it came to, where did Steve go? Oh, there he is. When it comes to Don't Believe Me, Just Watch, he went a mile 59-1 off a half and 1-1. Was very, very good. We also schooled Wiggle Delight, 58. She finished ahead of me in that schooler. She was good. I also schooled Little Peanut. Schooled. Who's the other trotter I went with? Globetrotting went. Well, I guess I'll go with Globetrotting second. Globetrotting was good. Made a little break at the wire. Now she's been running out in the straightaways. On a half, she's usually good. On a 5/8, she's pretty good. This is a 7/8, so the further you go down the stretch, the more she coasts over on that shaft. We have a gate strap on her. We're going to have the vet check her out tomorrow morning. Dr. Goodrow, who we don't use that much, scoped her today. He was the only one in the paddock, and he scoped her. Said there was a little inflammation there. He thinks he can treat that quite easily. He wants to take a blood on her tomorrow to check her weight count, obviously, with all the new horses coming into the training center, even though she's quite a ways away. This time of year, she also shipped back from Ohio. Just want to keep an eye, make sure she's not getting a little sick. So she was going to go mile 56 today, made a little break at the wire, ended up going mile 58 and 3. Still good, but could be better. Going to have the vet look at her tomorrow on, obviously. Just a little tune-up for the Breeders' Crown. Now, in regards to the Breeders' Crown, we're all big boys and girls. We know coming into the Breeders' Crown that we are a long shot. And I know some people had some concerns. Her last clean line was 45 days. Her last race was 30 days. And somebody actually said to me, well, put her in to go. If she breaks, it isn't meant to be. Come on. I don't want to say that's a little bit foolish, but it is definitely irrational. She did just make a break. So would you like to see that, her make a break at the wire and say, we'll patch her up a little. Oh, wait, we can't race in the Breeders' Crown because we have to qualify now. There's no qualifiers in time for us to enter for the Breeders' Crown. I have to play by the rules. Greg Schoner and I had a very good conversation. He brought up some great points when we were in Lexington. One, I called the judges to make sure, because in Ohio or Pennsylvania, she had a run, no big deal. You can still race in the Breeders' Crown. In Ontario, you cannot. You got to play by the rules in the jurisdiction you're in. 2 breaks in a row, you got to qualify. New York and Ontario are like that. I can't comment on any of the other jurisdictions because I don't know. But here, we would have to qualify. It just was not worth it. When we can school her in 56 in the morning, why would I need to race her at night? We just to race for $15,000 in a 2-year-old race and say we did it? Although racing's not the same as schooling, it's pretty damn close. And it was a good mile for her today. A little tiny week on the end of it, which is expected. She hasn't raced in a month. She went a mile in 57 last week, went a mile in 58 today. We're going to get her tuned up, make sure her blood is good. We're going to train her up again on Tuesday and probably 2.6, 2.7. And then we're going to roll the dice in the Breeders' Crown next Friday. And there is going to be no looking back. There's going to be no should we have raced her. There's going to be no anything. Hopefully it ends up great and we make it into the final. I'd love to win the Breeders' Crown with Globetrotting. But keep in mind, this is a giant 2-year-old filly that is growing, it seems like, hourly. She's put a lot of muscle on. She's put a lot of girth on, a lot of weight on. And she's at the end of her 2-year-old season. So, we're focused on winning races in Ohio all year. We weren't focused, although I would say by the time she raced the second time, we all had that little message of Breeders' Crown jumping around in our head. But at the same time, we were focused in Ohio. This is, if not the best, certainly the second best filly in Ohio. I would say the best, but I'm biased. And she's racing in the Breeders' Crown. She has every right to be here, but it is the end of the year. So I need everybody to be going into the Breeders' Crown with open eyes. She is going to be probably 12-1 morning line. She is going to be off 30 days, 45 from her last clean day. But at the end of the day, she is prepared. She'll be ready to go behind the gate, and we'll see what happens. Whatever happens. But she's definitely been one of the best horses I've had the pleasure of dealing with and having anything to do with. I know we've had Lawmaker. He was a tremendous 2-year-old colt. Never got to race in the Breeders' Crown. We had White Tiger last year, another good colt. He qualified today. We'll get to that in a minute. And we also have Globetrotting and a number of others. If I left out a horse that you're particularly fond of, I apologize. I'm obviously doing this ad lib. So, the other horse I schooled was Cabernet. 59, last half 59, last quarter 28-4. I come off the track and somebody said, I thought she'd look better. You're getting to see June in October, right? This is her June. She's never been here before. She's never gone fast miles before. She's never gone miles in 57, 56, 55. She doesn't have the muscle that racehorses put on. She did what she could do today, and she looked good doing it. We'll qualify her in 58 next week, and then we'll let the chips fall where they may with Cabernet. I was impressed with her today. Not that she went a quarter in 27 seconds, but she was comfortable. She was happy. She was sound. She did everything I asked her to do. She did well. Now, another horse I want to talk about quickly is White Tiger. Now, for those of you that have been watching White Tiger for quite some time, White Tiger had a piss-poor summer. He looked great at the start of the summer. The night he broke the trot and hobbles, he was going to be, second or third? Maybe win 52 and a piece in Philadelphia. He was good. Then we went to Poconos, and he ran away with Dave Miller, finished a poor 5th or 6th. And then he went, then we put him on Lasix, and I drove him in the Meadowlands. Didn't try and run away. He was quiet. In fact, he was flat. Raced him the next time, flat. Moved him to Tim Twaddle, flat, win. Beat up on a bunch of tired, aged horses halfway down the lane, winning 56. Looked good. Raced him in the final, flat. So the obvious question that a lot of our astute clients have asked, Could Lasix have something to do with it? I can't say no. Because there has been horses, rare, but there has been horses that have been affected negatively and had adverse reactions from Lasix. Didn't bleed that bad. He bled when he ran away with Dave Miller, and now he's not even leaving. There shouldn't be any issue with bleeding. Let's take him off Lasix. We did that today. He got away in the 2-hole now. They were at the quarter in 30 seconds. Mike Wilder got away in the 2-hole. Mike Wilder got away in the 2-hole, 30 seconds, follow. Now, Tim said, Mike said he obliterated them, was very strong going under the wire. So I wrote, he obliterated them, he looked great. He won by 3/4 of a length. So I don't know if obliterated was a proper adjective, but he qualified well. So well, in fact, that Mike was happy, Tim was happy, and I said, well, it's not like we're waiting for a big race for him here in Ontario. I was going to stop with him for a month and get him ready for the winter. Go ahead and race him. You want to race him? You think he's good? Mike Wilder knows him now. This is twice he's driven him. Let him roll. Put him in to go. So we're going to race White Tiger next week. First start off of Lasix in 6 starts or 5 starts. And see, hopefully, if we're lucky, it'll be frustrating if he goes out and wins and be like, why did we put him on Lasix? But there's no way to know that if that is in fact what it was. I'm going to defer until after the race before I start talking about how it could have been Lasix. He went in 56 on Lasix, trotted in 55 multiple times on Lasix. So before I get too excited about a 57-3 qualifier, I'm going to want to see some follow-up. So White Tiger will race next week in the Meadows. I think the class, I don't know when it goes, but Tim will put him in to go. So that is it for today. A pretty good day. Obviously, a couple little hiccups with globetrotting, but certainly no issues. She wasn't sore or lame or anything like that. She wasn't weak or poor. A little flat, which is expected. And then after we scoped her, you can see a little redness in her throat. We'll take care of that. So that's where we stand with globetrotting. She's still very much slated to race in the Breeders' Crown Eliminations next week at Mohawk. White Tiger is going to race next week at the Meadows. You heard that bump? That was the curb. Sorry about that. White Tiger is going to race next week at the Meadows. Casanova's Jewel is going to race next week at Flamborough or London. We'll get Final Answer requalified. We'll qualify Cabernet. What else? Don't Believe Me, Just Watch. We'll race next week in the Hervis Series. It's not going to be super tight, but mile 59, 9.5 in 1-1. Good for him today. Kevin will tighten him up probably Monday or Tuesday again for his race on Thursday. We'll see what happens. I think it's 2 legs anyway. I don't think it's just a lag in a final. Anyway, that was my day. Pretty good day. The babies are pretty uplifting to go with. I did have some horses that really surprised me, some that really didn't, because I hoped they would be good, and they have. A couple really surprised me so far. We'll talk about all that in another video. But if you're in the area, come on out Saturday. We got coffee and donuts. If it's raining, probably won't see a ton go. But if it isn't, or if it's just misty, or if it's just overcast, you're going to see them all go. James and I will be out going with them all. Maybe Mario will go with some. Danny will come over and go with some. Just should be a really fun Saturday. If you guys have really nothing to do on Saturday, stick around. We'll get some lunch, or we'll go to lunch and talk about what is new and what is going on at the stable. So now you're up to date. It's Thursday afternoon, 12:32. I'm going to get a quick bite to eat, do some business here, and then I am going to race tonight. Frontier Cruise, Totally Tactor. I'm really interested in going with that guy tonight. I feel bad. I forget who the other horse is. It'll come to me. Anyway, 3 to race tonight at Mohawk, and then on to the weekend. Take care. Talk to you guys soon.